New Kung Fu Kenny again. This is part 2 of the Jarod Cash Based interview podcast that was initially a Facebook Live.
Yes.
Yeah. So
if you want to see our beautiful faces, just go to Facebook. When really it's mostly the back of our heads, and you see.
Yeah, it's like it's all distorted because like we're up in front and we look huge and Jarod looks small.
Which is really not the case. We're all about the same size.
Yeah, so that's perception, right?
Yes.
That's a lesson how perception can influence you for the better or worse. But yeah, Jared Aguilar coming at you.
Yeah, Tyler Adams right here.
Boom, your fellow co-host when we're here grinding away on a lab weekend here in Austin, Texas. And we're just here to talk about part 2. If you listened to part 1, great. If you didn't, that's okay too. In this part of the Facebook Live interview with Dr. Jarod, we talk about documentation in Cash PT, not Cash BT, that's something else. We get into the dirt of documentation, talk about his shift in towards going from written to electronic records, and we talk about your goals, sir.
Yeah,
future Dr. Tyler Adams.
I try to get out of that quick. You notice it. You see, he starts focusing on me, and we try to make a story out of me, which is great. Yeah. But I just could not handle that amount of reality.
It got real for you.
I was like, ooh,
and he sensed it too. He called you out.
He did. He did.
Yeah, and he also said, "Yo, I'd hire you too if you didn't want to start your own thing."
I know, which was all. I mean, that's the reality.
Yeah. We also learned about his background as a diver.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
I really think the biggest quality of part 2 is towards the end, right there, where you get to really get your input. Where you ask them, you get to fire off your questions right as we wrap things up. I think that's really the best part. And then if you haven't got to listen to that silver wave, I don't think it's an analogy, but where he explains, hey, guess what's happening?
Yeah.
You're not going to have money through insurance. The mathematics are there. I think he does a great job of explaining it to the layman.
Yeah, I think that the mathematics breakdown of the future of Medicare reimbursements and how private practice is influenced by that, I think that's at the end of part 1. That's totally okay. It's okay. I didn't let you know. It's all right, man. But yeah, it's still good content either way, and I think this episode is picking off right where that left off. So, thank you for tuning in, and we mentioned this on the part 1 intro, but if you want to learn more about Dr. Jarod's how to start your own cash-based practice, his story of the cash-based life is his whole origin story. I'm trying to make it sound epic.
Oh, it is. It's so right? Epic.
His ebook, you can find it at here's the URL, bit.ly/cash duck, that's /CASHDUCK. You can get the book there if you're interested, and if you want to buy it, use the coupon code ducklegs, DUCKLEGS, and you get $20 off of that if you get it before July 15th when it ends.
Yeah, 15th.
And if you don't feel like chunking up that money, that's cool too, because he's got a bunch of free content. He's got his own podcast, My Cash Based Practice, I believe, and a bunch of other free content that Dr. Jarod Carter is putting out there. So, thanks again for tuning in, and enjoy.
Yes. Have a good day.
Or night.
Or night.
Or afternoon.
Morning.
I want to keep going with like if somebody's listening to this in 3005 and we're like, fight those damn robots.
You want that's to be an ongoing thing.
I like that robot apocalypse.
And remember to keep
fighting those robots.
Keep fighting those. And remember, 3042 is right around the corner.
All right, peace out.
So starting your own place, sometimes I feel like, you're working for a hospital and an organization, things are safe, right? You log onto that computer, documentation, you just follow it straight through.
Sound like somebody that just had an internship.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, my hospital internship, I had like it was like scroll down, click one of these 3 options. It's almost like they made it idiot proof, right? Okay. And I still messed it up. And I feel like there could be a little bit of fear from someone starting off their own thing. And documentation, what does that mean? Am I going to get sued? You know,
Right.
and things like that. What kind of advice do you have for documentation? Just that general fear of stepping away from the safety net of a corporation.
Well, I guess in terms of a cash-based practice, you're talking about like documentation in a cash-based practice.
Yeah,
versus...
documentation, cash-based practice, and just being out on your own, being sued, and
yeah, I mean that I don't know that the threat of the lawsuit was really something that entered my mind as like a big scary thing. But in terms of documentation and the differences between it and say an insurance-based practice, your documentation is vastly reduced in this kind of practice because, which I know you're excited to hear, because ultimately your documentation has to stand up to what is required by your State Practice Act and what will cover you legally, right? Mm-hmm. If you do, have an issue, what's gonna make sure that you're documenting effectively enough. And clearly enough and enough that if you get called to court, that they're not going to be like able to just hammer you, Mm-hmm. And so, but you don't have to like, do all this extraneous stuff and like 5 goals and blah 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 and dot all your I's and cross all your T's because you're worried about an insurance company kicking it back because you didn't check that box or you didn't fill in that part or whatever.
Yeah.
So, obviously the EMRs, they do a good job of like making sure that you have checked all the boxes and filled everything out, but you just don't have to be that detailed. And we're looking at EMRs right now very aggressively. We're going to be switching over from pen and paper, but I mean, I've been pen and paper for the first 7 years of this practice, mm-hmm. and we used classic SOAP notes, SOAP, done. By the time they're walking out the front door, if it's a follow-up visit, my note's done.
Really?
Yep.
So your note's done when they
my
get
note's
out
done
of
because I'll take, because I do a lot of test or treat and test.
Yep.
So
test, treat, test.
So every time I do that, I just make a quick note,
okay.
Did this mode or this soft tissue thing, and what was the result? Mm-hmm. And that helps guide me,
mm-hmm.
guide my treatment. And so really by the end, it's like, a quick assessment of how they responded and how they're doing, continue POC, and I might make a note of what I want to add next time, mm-hmm. but it's real fast. And if it's an eval, I mean, usually I have those done in like less than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is that going to change with the new electronic records?
There'll be a learning curve, but we'll hopefully have one that's set up, templated, such that after the evaluation, it auto pulls a lot of the information, and then with follow-up visits after the first follow-up, you have the option of saying, like, if you did the same thing, you can kind of X out what you didn't do or add, So hopefully it's still pretty quick, but we're moving in that direction, not because the documentation on paper I don't mind. It's the systems that it keeps us from having. Mm-hmm. It's the reporting, that we need to have. As we scale, we really need to have like the ability to have better reporting, also on the financial side, and then better communication between therapists who maybe aren't in the same location or aren't there that day or whatever. So just I think it'll help us streamline processes and set up systems for growth more than anything. It's not really a documentation play. Yeah.
And in the book, we talk about having, even in the booth rentals.
Yes.
You need to have a file cabinet if you're doing pen and paper.
Exactly.
To be HIPAA compliant.
To be HIPAA compliant, and in that case, you also that's something also to consider, is if you're in a state where, like in Texas, where you're a HIPAA covered entity, even if you're completely cash pay. In other states, you're not always a HIPAA covered entity.
I remember
in Texas, you are. They passed this ridiculous law, which they have a habit of doing here, that if you literally have any information on any patient at any time, like you're a HIPAA covered entity. And so in that case, if you're doing a booth rental, you couldn't be renting a room on a per hour basis that someone else could come in and rent as well if you're going to keep your files there. You would have to have the room to itself, completely lockable, and there's probably other factors in there as well. So.
There we go again with the dirt.
Yeah, there's some more dirt. Yeah, this is good. It's a dirt-filled
It's
episode.
a dirt-filled episode. Where are you going? Because I got
You go.
Okay. So how's that going to change now with electronic records about your
In terms of
HIPAA compliancy?
Oh, it's going to make it a lot easier actually, and,
Okay.
and like with faxes and stuff, like yeah, that's another. Our systems are right now, because of the pen and paper thing, they're quite sluggish in some areas, and like when we have to send progress notes, we have to type it up, and then from scratch, we're not like auto pulling from our previous notes. And then instead of just hitting the fax button to the referring provider, which would be put in, in an EMR when they come in the first time, we've got to type it up and then have Katie put it in our eFax, which is like an email. So she has to make a PDF, attach it to the email, put the fax number in the thing. It sucks. So
I'm already bored.
yeah, exactly. So that's another part of why I'm really excited about moving to an EMR. I hope we find one. And most of them would do way more than we need as a cash practice, so we're hoping to find a good match for cash practices.
Awesome. And how are we doing on time? Are you good?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
I'm ready to take it there.
Let's go.
I'm ready to go.
Let's go.
Now I'm scared.
No, all right.
You've been diligently
I've got some notes.
preparing. I've been
He's got
stalling
some
this entire
noodles,
time.
He's got some waves.
Yeah, mostly waves and noodles. Shout out to Ben Fung.
Yeah, I saw Ben Fong on there.
Nick, what's up?
Ben,
Ben's the man. Also a surfer too, I believe.
you're a
I
surfer?
think he is. If he's still
Oh
on.
man, we gotta talk.
Yeah. So I want to take it there, man.
Let's go.
Do you know where you're going come August 2018? When they give you that paper and they say, "Fly, little birdie, go and."
It's the same thing. I feel like a lot of people have is like you have this dream, you have like an idea, but then it's evolving, and then it always is like mutating and changing, and then you get scared, and then you're like, I don't know, and eventually you just give up. It's almost like it's almost like a.
So that's
like,
where he's moving towards the point that he just gives up.
Yeah, you're almost like you get like a lot of
You have the cloud ideas, right? You don't want to work you don't want to work in a clinic that has technicians, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just the biggest thing that here. I don't know. This isn't about me. I'll get it out real quick.
No, it's about you.
So here's what it is I think that I've been a personal trainer where in a 24-hour fitness gym where I was surrounded, including myself, and I still don't know anything. I'm learning more, but I didn't know anything. And they're paying people $60 an hour, and I've seen people with completely full schedules getting $60 an hour, doing completely nothing. No, they're not doing complete. They're doing things to people, but they're not doing anything spectacular. And I've watched people hit $1,000, sign up for 10 packs, sign up, and it happens, and it's crazy, and you're like, holy crap. So I believe that people will pay a lot of money, and then on top of that, I think insurance is very much in a box. So I don't want to go to a situation. I believe that people will pay a lot of money, and I'd rather go to a situation where people aren't having to I don't have to manipulate things based off of an outside entity judging what I think I should do. Because, to be honest with you, I don't know.
So you either need to start out working at a cash pay practice or just start your own cash pay practice. I mean,
yeah,
it sounds like
that. I mean, it really does. It really has almost gotten to that point. Yeah, starting off working there, or yeah, exactly.
If I knew that you weren't looking to start your own practice, I'd hire you.
But right now,
You blew it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take you out.
yeah. He said you got to take me out those 65-year-olds. But then I don't know. It goes to that, and I think so many people are out there doing this. They have these dreams, and then you just get scared. It's not even scared. It's just like lack of quite. The blueprint isn't there, and you just don't do it. You just say whatever.
Yeah.
Let's.
There's a lot of dirt.
The blueprint is there, though. You know.
Where
Blueprint
and
is
where is the blueprint?
It's there.
I know it's definitely there. It's
there.
in the ebook, right?
You got that ebook, and then again, there's other great resources online, or different colleagues and friends of mine that just
They put it all out there.
Ton of great stuff. So the blueprint is there. In terms of the fear, that's just going to be there, man. And especially if you're going to be a business owner, one of the things that you've got to learn to push through is fear, and not ignore. Don't do stupid things, or don't do your due diligence, but there's always going to be the fear, and there's always going to be the need to take risk if you're going to be your own boss.
Yeah.
And you just got to learn to push through that. I feel really fortunate, even though I was just like injured the whole time, but just being a diver growing up and in college, every single day I had to do stuff that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And I think it really conditioned me well to be able to be like, yeah, this is scary. Like, bringing Ben on and he's going to get X amount of salary, and bringing on a practice manager, and now they're getting X amount more, than before. And now it's like, okay, well, for a little while, I just need to live in my online business so I can just keep funneling profits back into growth of the business as opposed to paying myself. It's scary. And there will always be those kinds of things, and you just got to say, you got to go into it knowing that, and just being willing to push through fear, because it's always going to be there. So don't worry about it. Just accept it and keep pushing forward.
You literally were trained in taking dives and leaps into things. That's a perfect
diving in. I was
/
diving in every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect training.
What?
If you want, I'd like to talk more about that too, because I can tell by your body, by your posture.
Yeah, look at me.
Yeah, you don't have to be a poker player to tell this.
Yeah.
You're quite distressed about this.
Yeah.
So first of all, you have a year, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to immediately start your own practice. So don't I've put too much pressure on myself all the time, and I can tell you there are times when it can really break you down. Trust me. So don't feel like you have to have a set plan and guns blazing straight out of your graduation ceremony, right? Have a plan that you're willing to allow to change as needed and go with the flow.
Yeah.
And know that you're going to have some roadblocks, and that you're just going to become stronger because of them, right? And I have a saying I use a lot, because I tend to overcomplicate things and want everything to be so perfect, and I can tell you're probably similar, is what would this look like if it were easy? What would this look like if it were easy? If it were easy, would I be doing X, Y, Z? Probably not. I would probably hire that person to do it. Maybe take a few more personal training sessions, continue to make money as a personal trainer to fund as I build my cash-based practice on the side, and my personal training clientele is also going to feed into becoming, it's like, hey, I'm a physical therapist now, I have my doctorate, I'm going to be certified in manual therapy, or I am, so if I were you, I'd probably actually consider just continuing on as a personal trainer as you build your cash practice, and they're going to feed one another.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I've definitely have thought that kind of stuff. I feel like, I don't know, this isn't quite so much the dirt, but I feel like for me, and I feel like a lot of times when I have an issue, other people have an issue, but a lot of times it's, I'm not good at checking my email. I feel like I'm not adult enough a lot of the time. I'm always studying for a test last minute. I'm never that person that's turning in the assignment five days early. And does that mean, if you're that type of person, that mean that it's probably not for you? Or the people that are the owners, the people that are always doing it perfect?
No, absolutely not.
Right.
There are plenty of very successful, business people who fly by the seat of their pants, and I think the key there is that those who recognize they do that, and that could be a detriment in certain areas of their business.
Oh yeah.
That they, as quickly as possible, hire or outsource certain things that maybe aren't their strongest suit.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about that.
Outsourced.
I'm like 3 to 5 months behind on emails all the time.
Yeah.
You get back with the ones that are most pressing.
Yeah.
Even on my website, on the contact form, I was basically I said I'm really not responding much anymore. I'm focusing on the practice.
Yeah.
There's a ton of content that probably answers your question if you just take the time to search for it. And refer people to other professionals, and still people read that and email me, but
Stop it.
I want to do so. I want everyone that is listening or will listen to comment how many unread messages you have in your email.
Throw them up. Oh,
How many?
Throw up the inbox.
Throw up the
up the
inbox number. I checked it earlier today.
Damir's got like 50.
Dude, I bet Damir's got 2.
You're right.
Damir has nothing unread.
So only unread. Okay.
Unread. How many unread emails?
Oh yeah, Damir's got 0. Damir's
So a
got
lot of
inbox.
mine are clicked as read, but they registered as read, but I have not read them or responded to them. I would guess I'm over 100.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was at 180 this morning.
The 180.
Nice.
Damir says what,
That's
2,000?
awesome. Well
No.
done.
This is 11,000.
Oh no, she doesn't. No. Okay.
My girlfriend, she'll because I get upset about emails. She's like, I've got over 1,000. She'll say I've got like 1,000 unread emails,
Jeez.
and I don't know. That's getting on a different. I am curious to look at those numbers, what
Yeah.
they have. Ben Fung, Greg Todd, what are your unread
Yeah,
emails looking like there?
Yeah, I'm excited about the day that I have a full-time here in Austin executive assistant that helps me with a lot of things, but like the first order of business is going to be like every day we sit down and we process emails together and just build out the task lists and all the guidelines and just be like, all right, I'm checking email 3 times a week for 30 minutes at tops, and they're doing the rest.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
And do you have a virtual assistant?
They do.
No.
But they're not for email processing. I don't have anyone processing email now. I have a part. You guys were emailing with Kate.
Yep.
She's a part-time. I'm not her only client. She's a part-time assistant. And when I'm out of town, if I take a long trip, more than a few days, then she'll process emails when I'm gone. So
Very
I
cool.
have- yeah.
Everybody could use that.
Something that just thought. Okay, so this is more for your general people because I do feel like I have a bit of a following already with some people, but I've been practicing. Okay, I've been doing my thing, and I really want to do my own cash base because I'm hating insurance. I'm hating my boss. I need to get clients. I've got 3 cousins that will come to me, but that might be a little weird, and they might refer 2 people. And then I also have my mom I could treat, and I could grab some money from her
You
for
don't
a
want to
while.
treat your mom.
Yeah. Listen to him.
and I know people like numbers. Like what are 3 places you're just now starting off, or you're trying to go? Are you going to races? Are you going to magazines? Are you Facebook? You talked about that. Facebook is not. That took me a while. I was way behind the time. Facebook is not teeny bopper. That's a big sales place. Where are you going to find places?
Where am I going to find?
To find new clients.
New clients as straight out of the gate.
New patients.
Brand new.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say you said 3 things. Okay, or you asked for three.
3 places, and
Okay.
I'm gonna put a lot of.
Well, so there's a lot of people who are all about the online stuff. I certainly am as well, but I'm not all about that.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be good at that, and you got to have the other iron in the fire. I think I did a video on this the other day. 2-pronged approach is the face-to-face relationship building, whether it's at events or just reaching out to like-minded professionals who might be referral sources or whatever. And on that side of things, I would say it would be wise to start out with choosing a niche. Now, not to say that you can't, treat a variety of conditions or a variety of types of people, but it will help to get a faster start, right, out of the gate if you can really dive deep into a very narrow niche. So if it's just runners or just triathletes or just, Pilates or just pelvic floor, whatever, the person listening to this, whatever your passion is, that a ton about, you can get great outcomes for, and then you're going to be like, okay, what networking can I do in that niche? Are there events for that sport in my area? Are there meetup groups? Are there whatever? Are there other professionals that have big followings and that I can add an ancillary complementary service or something value added to what they offer? Mm-hmm. So just finding those gatherings or those people and starting to build those personal relationships and making sure you're following up. It's not just about meeting them once. It's about following up and, every few months, hey, let's get happy hour, or swing by with a bottle of wine, or send them a client and then follow up and be like, hey, let's get together to discuss that patient, or there's a lot of different ways, but having regular meetings with people is how you're going to build a relationship to the point that they're really going to be producing business for you. A lot of people go network, and there's a whole section in the book on this, which you can get at bit.ly/
Cash Ducks?
Cash Ducks.
Cash Ducks.
Is it ducks with an S or is it plural?
I don't know now.
Wait, hold on. Let me look.
It's on the Facebook thing.
Cash Duck.
Cash Duck.
Singular.
Singular.
Okay. Sorry. So
and the link
you
is
can
in the
read.
Facebook feed.
So I've got the whole section in there on networking, but the fortunes in the follow-up. It's not just about one touch, it's about multiple touches and really building that relationship. You're going to get a lot of no's and people that ignore you, and that's fine. Just keep pushing forward and develop what you can with those who are interested and those who are going to be really key referral sources.
Yeah.
And in those situations, you'll also get patients, like actual patients. So you might think, I'm going to this thing and there's going to be a bunch of people that have a similar clientele, and all of a sudden it's like 2 of them want to come see you for treatment. Or maybe you're just like, hey, why don't you come experience what I do? I'd love to give you a complimentary session.
Yeah.
That's really important, is actually to get them to experience what you do. So we really try to get people in that we meet at these events or face to face to come in and experience the difference, that we provide. And then on the online side, so that's one. And I feel like this is a good, I've wondered, is the lead time on the face-to-face stuff longer than the online stuff? I feel like the lead time, when I say lead time, I mean like the time from when you start doing it to where you really start to see it pay off. I feel like the lead time on the face-to-face, at least in my experience, this might not be across the board, but in my experience, when I'm really hustling and getting out and networking a bunch, I'm seeing results of that faster and sooner than when I'm committing to writing 2 blog posts a week or doing a Facebook Live every week or whatever. It takes some time to build that audience, to get people familiar enough with you that they're actually willing to come in as patients. Whereas in terms of getting someone to come in and get a free session that might be a referral source, it's a lot. To me, it kind of happens faster.
Face to face.
Yeah. So that's what I really started with early on, and kind of concurrently, I was trying to write some blog posts and put some videos on YouTube and that kind of thing. And the videos on YouTube have over time really produced, I've done some, and there's actually a way to have a crossover between those two things. And so an example would be, I set up a presentation to a group of personal trainers at a high level country club here. And they had 15 personal trainers. And I did this kind of presentation to them on how to do a quick functional movement screen of your new clients or your existing clients. And I think 2 of the trainers this was back before I gave free sessions. Now we're like, come on in, we'll do a session for free, it's fine. Then I was giving them a discount, but I had 2 that were like, yeah, I'll see you. And so that was 2 paying customers, and then they each sent people over time, but we recorded it and put it on YouTube. We didn't just put the whole thing on YouTube, we slice it into multiple Q&A sections and different questions. And so out of this 1 hour long effort, between putting it together and 30 minutes of presenting, we got 15 videos out of it. I don't know how many, probably over 100,000 views on YouTube so far. And other personal trainers in Austin who have seen them have sent patients blind, not even meeting me in person, have just referred patients or come in themselves.
Wow.
And so literally that one presentation, I would estimate has made, if not $20,000, at least $10,000 from that one effort. And that's where the online stuff is so important. Wherever you can record what you're going to do, in front of a crowd, and put it online, then it works for you over a long period of time.
Stays there.
So those are the 2 big things I would do. I would get in front of people. I would do presentations to your niche audience or to people with your niche clientele. And record everything and just do a bunch of video.
Bunch of video.
Yeah.
And you're not scared to go to a place just by yourself, right? You can just set up a tent, you're okay with that?
What do you mean, like go to a place by yourself?
So I have the pleasure, if I'm going to go do a presentation, I've got the beauty to have Jarod with me. Right? I feel like a lot of people would be intimidated to go out there and say, hey, it's just a Cap 10K race, right?
Yeah.
You've got a booth out there.
Okay.
And it's just you sitting in front of that booth.
Yeah.
And it's just you, hi, giving awkward hellos to people. And do you bring your wife? Do you bring the other people with you? What should you?
So in terms of the events where you're going to have a booth, you really want to do certain things and make certain plans to capitalize on that, because it's usually going to be not cheap to have your own booth. I've shared booths with others.
Shared booths.
And what we would always do with those, what we always have done, is free injury assessments.
Yeah.
So anyone who's having pain or injury, we'll do a free 10-minute assessment. Okay, yeah, this and this and that are going on. This is what's causing your pain. You're weak here. That's probably why this still hurts. Blah blah blah. If you want to come in for treatment, we can address all those things. Plus, we have the time to come in for a full session to really see if there's any other hidden landmines that might cause us to come back at some point, or if you be re-injured. And so that's a great way to generate patients, but you also want to have like things for people to sign up for so that you can follow up with them. So classic face-to-face but lead generation in a face-to-face manner. So maybe it's
A raffle giveaway.
Maybe it's a raffle giveaway. That's an interesting story. We just a few weeks ago, we had a kickoff event. It was the second one we did for a running group that we sponsor here in town. And the first time we did it, and we've done this at a couple other events, we would have a raffle. We used to call it a raffle. We wouldn't give out tickets, but people would sign up, just basic contact information for a chance to win a free running analysis. You guys have seen that.
Yeah, very cool.
Right?
Yep.
So we get 30, 40 people in that event. Like they're like, hey, we're going to give one of these away for free. And sign up and you will choose somebody. And what I did was I set up this marketing campaign where we give the one away for free to one person, but everyone else gets a series of emails over the course of that running season that's kind of timed with how they're going to be ramping up, because we know, right?
Yeah.
And we know about when the wheels are going to start falling off. When they start doing their 5 or 6 mile runs, it's like that knee's going to start hurting, whatever. Yeah. And then we're compelling them to come in for our free consultations, or hey, maybe it's time for that running assessment. And I'm thinking I'm freaking brilliant. Oh my God. I'm like planning it out. I'm like, okay, here they're going to be a 6 mile.
Yeah.
10, oh man, this is going to be so good. This email's going to hit right at time. I mean, there has so many customers from this.
Yeah.
Hell no. It was
Right?
I would say, that series of emails after the fact probably was responsible for maybe 2 or 3 other people coming in for a run analysis or something like that. And it was really the fact that we go out there almost every Saturday morning and we're there after their runs, that's where we were signing the most people up. But what we did this most recent time, as opposed to doing the giveaway, was I said, okay, and we do this, for this group, we do the running assessments for $99 for that group. It's part of our sponsorship deal with them. Normally it's the usual $165 for an hour session. So what I said was, and just driving over there, I was like, that damn campaign, it did not produce like I thought, right?
Yeah.
So instead I said, okay, for you guys, all year long, we're your sponsors, we're here for you, $99 special across the board for your running analysis. But we're doing a kickoff event special that if you sign up today on our clipboard over there, you're going to get your running analysis for $50. Okay, but you got to sign up today as part of this kickoff event. We had 12 people sign up.
Wow.
And so far I think we've got most of them through, and I think 1 or 2 have become patients. So literally we made $600 right there. The sponsorship was only $1,000, and then a few people that have become patients. That's basically the rest of the year is gravy. Yeah. In terms of profit from that sponsorship. So you got to think about things that you can do in that way that are time limited and scarce. Kind of like the discount we have. Actually, we haven't even mentioned that. All right, so what's the discount? So if you go to the website that we've been giving, the bit.ly/ Cash Duck, and you decide to buy the Cash Practice ebook, in the checkout there will be a coupon code little box, and if you put ducklegs, DUCKLEGS,
Yep, one word.
Yep, it's $20 off the book. It's a big discount off the book, and that's going to end on July 15th, the time of this recording. So this will obviously live. It works right now.
Let's put that in the comments.
Yeah, and we forgot to put that in there. And then up till July 15th, and this will come out probably a week on your podcast, a week before. So people listening to this as a podcast will have about a week to take care of that, or to take advantage of that discount. So duck legs, one word, in the coupon box.
Coupon code.
Yeah. So you got to think about things like that. How can you get creative? How can you add like a time-limited component to it? If you want to give stuff away, great. If you want to give things at a discount, fine. But you want to have a number of those kind of irons in the fire for any one event. You definitely don't want to just show up with a logo on your sign on your booth and expect people to come up.
Yeah.
Like we put like yoga mats and foam rollers in front of our booth, so those runners will come back from their run at this event, and it's like, oh, foam roller, then it's like, oh, your calf bothering you, like that kind of stuff. It's like, how can I get people to start talking to me? How can I get them to give me their contact information so I can follow up with them via phone and email? What can I get? How can I get people to sign up for my services today? Or a free consultation today, something like that. So all those kind of things, you have a number of those ways of capturing leads and signing people up for something the day of, and those events can be really profitable.
So
and going by yourself is fine. You've got the personality for it. Now I will say, if you can bring others, it's better, because when you're talking, you don't want to be like, if two people come up at once, you don't want to have split. So I would definitely suggest. Now, Ben and I or more are always there. If Ben couldn't make it to something like that, I would definitely have my wife. She's gorgeous, so people will come up.
Hello.
Yeah, people will come up for that reason alone. But yeah, having other people with you is better for that reason. But it doesn't mean you can't go out and give a presentation by yourself.
And notes: bring a gorgeous wife to screening assessment.
Second note: get a gorgeous wife.
Get a gorgeous wife.
You're not married, right?
No.
Okay. All right.
She's just looking for rings.
So no rings.
Yeah.
On that note, we do have to wrap it up, because you got important business to attend to. It's stuff that's much more important than hanging out with us. Do we need to wrap up with anything? Where can they find you? Right? Or do we want to?
We got. How much time do we have?
We're good. If you've got another question, I'm good.
I want to break it. This is dirt, man.
I know. I need the dirt.
All right.
We got a two-part. We got a two-part for sure here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No doubt.
Oh yeah. All right. I'm a student. Graduate in 1 year. Ideally, in theory, if I want to open up a practice, we already talked about this upon graduation. I need to have saved up between 3 to 6 months of living expenses.
Yeah, I would err on the side of 6 months.
Yeah. More than 6 months.
Yeah.
All right.
If you can have more than 6 months, and I would say, unless you really have a niche where you need like a space, that you might consider starting with the low overhead model and just doing a booth rental or seeing people at their homes or whatever, if that fits the type of treatment that you do. You might really be hardcore in the therapeutic exercise, and then you might look at, okay, well, can I rent a room out of a gym? That's generally a great option. I've seen a lot of people have a lot of success, especially as solo practitioners, by just getting something, a little treatment room attached to a gym. A lot of gyms have those. Yeah.
And when we're talking low overhead, for you, I know it's going to depend, but is there a number that you're looking at?
Like, my overhead was $200 if I count the table I already had.
Right.
$200 for a massage table. Maybe $50 for enough like TheraBand and lacrosse balls and stuff that I have patients use for their home program. And gas money.
Gas money. And
that's how it started.
Pencil and paper.
Yeah, exactly. Now, okay, let me. There's also some other startup costs. You have to have liability insurance. You got to get that set up. You should have at least a placeholder website, and you can, if you weren't going to outsource and you just wanted to go, okay, I'm just going to set up a simple Weebly, do-it-yourself thing. Just have that. What is that going to be? $15 a month or whatever.
Free right now. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
Paid.
So you can go really, really low overhead on pretty much every component. And then once you get the ball rolling, then maybe it's like, okay, I'm going to get the attorney to look at my LegalZoom paperwork, which is what I did. I mean, I started with the LegalZoom deal, and then once I got the ball rolling, I got an attorney to transition me and kind of tidy things up. And I did it in trade, actually. I treated him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I did a few sessions of treatment to do my paperwork and get me all set up.
That's
super cool.
So yeah, consider barter as well.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do barter, make sure that you both charge your normal rate, or if you have a standard discount, that you both apply and track it very carefully. I did a barter with my mechanic, and he didn't track things very carefully, and it wasn't a bad situation. It's just like, it just isn't clear. You got to make sure it's really clear. Like, this is what I charge. This is what you charge. We're going to track it. We're going to, keep the tally correct. Yeah.
Important.
But that's a nice way. Like, you could, if you're out like at an event and you meet some web designers that are cool, and ask them if they've got anything hurting them.
Yeah.
Hey man, how about I fix your neck, and since you're sitting at a computer all day, and you fix my website. There's you get creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I forget about barter being a thing.
Yeah.
And that's not like illegal or anything, right?
Since the IRS might be watching us, by tax law, as far as I understand it, you are supposed to report the value of what you've received in exchange for your services, as if it is cash. So ultimately, they want to tax you on that.
Yeah.
Do people report barter stuff? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I know I certainly did.
Yeah.
I did for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And just to keep wrapping it up, make sure we have that loud and clear.
Yes.
That we did report everything that needed to be reported.
Are there any final questions up there? Actually, I don't want to interrupt you,
Yeah.
so we'll finish on that.
Are you? Yeah, I think we're winding down on there
Okay.
too.
This is the goods.
You didn't start making or breaking even. How long did it take? You said a year to 2 to
No, breaking even, like making more money than, or as much money as I was spending.
Yeah, or you.
Was week 1 or 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I basically, when I started my practice, I had left my former employment, and I didn't know I was going to start my practice actually when I left. But this is kind of an interesting story. So I think I mentioned to you guys before that I had a year between kind of working in clinics where I was a private physical therapist for a really wealthy couple. Did I tell you that?
No.
Yeah. So they were constantly traveling, so I just traveled with them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so after that is when I worked for this cash practice for a little over a year, and then for various reasons had to leave. But I didn't leave thinking I'm going to start my own practice. It wasn't like that. It was, I left and I was like, not sure what I'm going to do. But I reached out to that couple and I was like, hey, you guys, want me to come hang and do some treatment for a few weeks or a month or something. And so while I was gone, I was having people trying to find me. My former employer was not really giving my information out, so some had found me through LinkedIn and one found me through Twitter, and I was like, wow, people are seeking me out.
Yeah.
So when I came back, I decided I'm going to start this and see what happens, and I immediately had 2 or 3 clients that first week. So because I was literally driving to their house with a massage table that I already owned, I was literally profitable right away. Right.
Okay.
So.
And this is the home health kind of.
Yeah, this is. So it wouldn't have been necessarily, in the booth rental too, because if I was charging, I think I was paying $20 per hour that I used it, but I was charging $120. So, before other overhead expenses were taken out and taxes, I was, I had $100 in revenue per patient. So that too was very quickly, a profitable scenario. Yeah.
And I think one of the final questions to get you out of here, I think the biggest fear, whether rational or irrational, is the student loan thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have too.
I still have student loans, 12 years out.
And how did you? Because upon graduation, were you thinking I'm gonna do my own thing?
I figured eventually I'd probably have my own practice, but my focus out of graduation was what I told you guys. I was like, I know I'm going to be in Austin. Who has the most letters behind their name?
Yeah.
And I found that person. His name's Mark Strickland, and he took me under his wing and called me his Jedi apprentice and whatever. And he really was the mentor I was looking for, and he's still a mentor. I'd reach out to him now and again for advice on different stuff and referrals and whatnot. And so that was my focus. I didn't go into it thinking I'm going to do this for 2 years and then I'm definitely going to start my own thing. But I always had like an entrepreneurial bug. Ever since I was little, I was selling stuff and lemonade stands on the side of the golf course and stuff like
Carter lemonade.
Yeah. Cash Based lemonade.
Yes, right? And so that fear didn't bother you of having got loans over my head. How am I gonna have enough people to see? Am I gonna make enough?
If you were starting straight out of the box and you knew you were gonna have to be paying like a minimum of $500 a month in student loans or more, I mean you got to factor that in. That goes back to your living expense kind of thing,
yeah.
And so what you might have to do is say, you know what, I hate it, but I'm going to take the 30-year payoff plan until things get rolling, and then I'll do the 20-year, and then I'll get the 10-year going. Yeah, and I could have just I could have paid my student loans off right now or by now. I came out with $100,000 in debt. That was 12 years ago. I could have easily paid it off, but I decided to invest in real estate instead. Yeah, and then I just took an equity. I took some equity out of one of our houses, and put $30,000 against my student loans in one big chunk just recently. So it depends. If you look at like how much are you paying in interest on your student loans, but then you have a scenario, you can't ever know for sure, but if you have a scenario where you're likely, you could easily make 8+% and you're only paying 3.5% on your student loans, some would say take at least some money and put it into that investment.
Yeah.
And then you can pay off bigger chunks down the road. So, but because I took that route, I'm still paying them off.
That's a whole another.
But 20 years from now, when those homes are all paid off completely and we've got renters, sending us thousands a month, I'll be like, student loans, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm so glad I went that route, even though I still have to pay them off every month.
You got the long game in mind.
Think long game, my friend.
Dr. Carter with the long game.
Cash Based lemonade and long game.
Cash Based surfing and lemonade. Greg Todd's back on. Peyton says, thanks for the podcast, guys. Awesome stuff. Thank you.
Yes,
thank you guys.
Thank you.
This was really good. Tell them one more time where they can get the book from you guys.
Yeah.
And the coupon.
I still don't have the URL down.
So,
bit.ly
bit.ly //
it's Cash Duck.
Cash Duck.
Cash Duck, singular. And there's a $20 off coupon code.
Ducklegs.
That's plural.
That is plural.
That's plural.
We should have thought about that.
It's a one word, not case sensitive. You'll get $20 off of the amazing.
Until July 15th.
Until
July 15th.
So get it in while you can get it in.
Get it in while you can get it in.
And if you somehow end up on our website, you can follow that as well.
Which is
that's right.
ducklegs.weebly.com.
Or is it Weebly.com?
I think it's Weebly.legs.
No, is it? No.
I think so.
I think so.
If you Google those words.
Yeah, if you Google Weebly. We got to get him out of here.
Yeah, we do.
Gotta
I'm
get him
sorry.
out of here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure as
Appreciate
always.
it.
Absolutely.